Hello, folks. Welcome to Boatrek Live. I'm joined by Marcelo, and it is a sad,
Howdy.
somber day, but it is also filled with glee and wonder. We're going to discuss some things here on the channel. Stay tuned. Marcelo, before we get to the sad news that Star Trek Prodigy, along with the beloved Grease Rise of the Pink Ladies, which I watched one episode of, I'm like, it's okay. I'd rather not watch the rest of it. Probably many other people felt the same way, but Prodigy is a shock. We'll get to that, but we're gonna start on a positive note. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds is back. You like that show, Marcelo? You find it tickles your
Uh,
fancy?
yeah, I mean, I had a very, very interesting relationship with the show in the first season because I had a lot of issues, but I knew that the show had room to improve, and luckily, the first two episodes of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, I've enjoyed them very, very much.
Well, the first episode, called The Broken Circle, basic premise of this is it starts off with Pike talking to Una via long range communication about getting her a lawyer. Not relevant to this episode. So Pike's out of the picture in this episode, pretty much. Spock is in command. Uh, they get a distress call from La'an, who is on Kajitar 4. I can't quite remember. And she's there because she had to follow the girl whose family were affected by the Gorn, and it led her to a syndicate of humans and Klingons called the Broken Circle, who are devising a plan to do a false flag operation using a ship that looks like a Starfield class. This is all uncovered throughout the episode. So the distress call comes in, and Uhura picks it up, goes to Spock, and says, "We think this is La'an. It's urgent." Spock goes to Admiral April, says, "This is a problem, guy." Paraphrasing. April's like, "No deal," because this is a dilithium mining planet. It's the Klingons' 30-day rotation, and although there are humans and Klingons there at any given time, it's not a good thing for the Federation to be around. It's like a sign of aggression, and it could spark a war, which is exactly what this Broken Circle Syndicate is trying to do. So anyway, Spock and the crew steal the Enterprise, and there is an engineer named Pelia, played by legendary Carol Kane. Is that her name?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, yeah. I just had to make sure. I remember her from Scrooged. I used to love her. I used to think she was so scary because she kept punching Bill Murray in the face. I'm like, God, you keep hitting him.
You
It's
keep
like,
hitting.
like, what's going on? I thought she was scary but cute. It's weird.
Poor Bill.
Uh, so anyway, we see the Klingons in this episode, which is wonderful because they kind of correct the mistakes of the past. In my opinion, they never had to explain the differences in designs. When you went from the TV show to the motion picture, people had to settle into the idea of, okay, this is something with a budget where they can put prosthetics on the actors and whatnot. And you should have left it at that. But DS9 had that episode, Trials and Tribulations, where Odo asks Worf, those are Klingons? And he's like, we don't discuss it with outsiders. I thought that was a good way of just explaining it away in a funny way that didn't require a lot of messing with canon. Enterprise came along and did a two-parter that explained why TOS Klingons don't have ridges. Now, I always maintain, I'm going to pass it over to you, Marcelo. No, I'm going on a thing here, but I always maintain that Nicholas Meyer's version of Klingons that you see in Star Trek Six: The Undiscovered Country have the most kind of subtle ridges. They look the most human, basically. And I always thought whether this is actually true or not, but in my mind, this was a nod to the TOS Klingons. This was a way to show TOS Klingons as opposed to the TNG Klingons, which were going on concurrently, and the more elaborate makeup even in Star Trek 3 and 5 and all this. But in this episode, they show a variety. They show an elaborate Klingon makeup, and then they show some background extras, and they look very... It's subtle. It's not full TOS, which you're never going to get to. Forget that. But I thought that was the best thing about the episode. And I do like Spock, but like I think they overplay like his flow of emotions now. I think I would like to see him battle a little bit more to maintain. Although it is clear that he is very attracted to Chapel. And there's other stuff in the episode too. One of the things that we talked about yesterday is that I didn't like the fight scene with Chapel and Benga and the Klingons. I thought it went on way too long. It was too weirdly shot. It didn't look coherent. It just became noise after a while. And then at the very end, they start strobing the lights. And I'm like, I'm out. So forget all that part of the episode. But overall, it's a fun start to the season. And a little bit better than the opener of season 1.
Yeah, like PJ just mentioned, for those of you who don't know, just quick plug here, PJ, sorry. We talked about the first 2 episodes of A Stranger World Season 2 in a little bit more detail over on my channel, Balloon Head Productions. So if you guys want to see our 2 discussions that we had there, our 2 live stream discussions that we had there just yesterday, just go on over to my channel and you'll find them right there. But I thought the Klingons looked pretty cool in this episode. I was never one to complain about how the Klingons looked in season 1 of Discovery. I just said when I saw the initial first episode, like, those look really weird, and I just kind of didn't really think about it anymore. So I thought that these Klingons looked more accurate and looked more within norms for Star Trek aliens, specifically Klingons. I really loved the emotional turmoil that Spock was in for the most of this episode. I love that it focused in on M'Benga and Chapel. And I also, unlike PJ, enjoyed them kicking ass on the spaceship.
I do think they do have a good chemistry, those actors. And we get to understand that M'Benga was involved in the Klingon War. He wasn't with Pike and the others who were away. The Enterprise was away during the Klingon War, like Pike's crew. So there are members of Pike's crew who were involved. And there's a scene where the M'Benga is treating a Klingon, and he's talking about the moon he was on. He's like, if you were really there, you'd be dead. And I liked kind of like how they're portraying certain Klingons. Some are like really like beastly, like we're used to in some things. And then some, like the female Klingon who has the subtle kind of ridges, she sounds like kind of like very Federation standard, like not typical. So I like in that one episode, they have all these combinations of actors, I think, doing a great job at like not doing one just typical Klingon. Like you're seeing like, oh, this is, and they're with humans and stuff. It's I like that part. What did you think of them being blown out in space? What was the believability factor for you where like they get blown out into space, Spock fires on the ship, and then the ship explodes? Like, where are they in proximity to that explosion? Like, if they don't show any of that, and like that was the one part where I was like, I don't know what's really going on here, but I'll buy into it. I mean, I don't want the characters to die, obviously, so.
You know, when we were talking about it yesterday on my channel, and you brought up what was the proximity between M'Benga and Chapel to the explosion that just happened like a minute later, up until you said it and up until you mentioned it when I was watching the show, I didn't think about that. I just thought it was I just thought it was a really cool visual of seeing them get blown out into space, as Data would correct Commander Riker. That was just a really cool visual for me, but I didn't think about the proximity to them and the explosion until you brought it up in our conversation.
Oh well, it just when that happened, as soon as that happened, I was wondering where they. I thought they would give a perspective of where they were, but and it seems like so much time goes by. Uh,
Hmm.
let's move on to the next episode because that's the really good one I want to talk about.
Yeah, that's the meaty one.
That's the I think episode 2 of season 2. Ad aspera. Well, no,
Um,
ad astra
yeah,
per aspera.
yeah. I'm not gonna say it again because yesterday I said it wrong.
Ad astra per aspera. There you go.
Okay, all
There
right,
you
there you
go.
go.
That's how you say it, I think. And it's about the trial of Una for the crime of being an Illyrian who lied on her application to Starfleet. Uh, just the gist of it, the basic setup is they offer her a deal. Patel is the prosecuting attorney, I suppose, Captain Patel, Pike's casual girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
And I like her. I like her character and I like the actor. I mean,
Yeah, we
if
met
you
her.
want to say anything about modern Trek, any criticism you ever have, like they always cast well. I think they always find really good people to
Yeah,
play the
yeah.
roles, and nobody's shitty. No, there you could argue they're here and there,
Here and
yes,
there.
but like the main casts of these shows, no.
No, but the casting director for the people who do the casting for new Star Trek, most of the time they hit it out of the park, like PJ said. Every once in a while, they get a director they get an actor that's kind of iffy, but for the most part, these are likable actors and actresses who do the best they can with the roles that they're given. And Captain Patel, Captain Pike's girlfriend from the very first episode, she's a welcome addition in this episode.
She's good, but she
Yeah,
offers
right.
Una a deal. It's like, hey, you plead guilty, and we'll just give you a dishonorable discharge, uh, and wipe the record basically like you never existed.
Yeah,
And of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
in
Una's
Una's
like,
mind, that's the last thing she wants to do. So,
yeah, Una's like, hell no, I ain't taking that shit. Get that shit off of here.
and she doesn't take the deal. And then
Nope.
this Vulcan, uh, I don't know if he's a commander, commodore, admiral. What I'll just say this Mister Paddock,
But it sounds like
the
Patak.
bald headed. It sounds
You
like
said
Patak,
you said
Patak,
yeah, you said it yesterday. Patak.
um, because he's a prick. He comes back and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna plead not guilty? 20 years." And that's one of these things in Trek. It's like even this is not as extreme. This example I'm gonna give is more extreme than this. Is like the death penalty in TOS. Like you get the death penalty, you go to Talos 4 or whatever. It's like no. And some people are like hardcore
But
about that. Yeah,
but okay,
it was the death penalty, and
o-
the
okay,
eugenic wars did happen in 1995. It's an alternate
okay,
universe. And I'm like, okay,
okay,
whatever.
but seriously, have we ever really seen? And I mean, not to derail the conversation away from the episode that we're talking about, but have we ever seen them enforce the death penalty for those people who have gone to Talos for? Because
I ignore things like I like in Turnabout Intruder when the woman's like, yeah, women aren't allowed or aren't permitted to be captains. I'm like,
that's
I'll just
ridiculous.
chalk it up to she's not giving correct
It's time.
information.
Right, right. But the other thing that makes it really frustrating is that like the death penalty it doesn't seem like something that belongs in Star Trek. Sure, if somebody commits an
It
awful
it
crime,
completely is it's the furthest thing from Star Trek for
yeah,
the Federation or Starfleet to have a death penalty. You know, in terms of like a villain or a mad crazy
hmm
person that's trying to kill you or a whole space station or a whole ship or something, yeah, blow them to smithereens. That's a fight. That's war. But as in terms of like, oh, you did this crime, we're gonna hold you in the cell and you're gonna wait to die. It's like
right.
no, no.
No, but the other thing about why the death penalty is so off in the Star Trek universe, if you wanted to like really punish someone, send them to Send them to that ice planet, where they sent what's it?
Rorapente.
Yeah, yeah. Send them to Ropente and work them to death. But you don't have to kill them. Just work them to death.
Well, the Federation has no business sending Federation
Eddie
citizens
put
to
it. Eddie
Klingon
put it in
prisons
Ropente.
if they commit a crime on foreign soil. I suppose it's a different story, but yeah,
Right. No, but sorry. I was just trying to like figure out the logistics of actually enforcing the death penalty if somebody goes to a forbidden planet like Talos 4.
yeah. So getting back to ad astra per aspera. Is that how you say? I don't care. So
Paraspita? I say
it
Paraspita.
means through the stars you struggle or something. Whatever. But
Whatever.
the focus here is I'm captivated by the guest star in this episode, Yetide Badaki,
Mm,
who
yep.
plays is it Nira?
Yes, it's near. Yeah.
And what a commanding performance, well written. I like how Pike goes to her with the oxygen thing. It's all a ruse. Like, if you don't let me in, I'm gonna just die here. So you get she has to meet with me. I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny. But right from the get go, she's a complex character. She has an actual arc in just this one episode of going from I won't take the case to all right, I'll take the case because this can do something for me. Una calls her out on that, and then it becomes about no, I'm gonna help my friend and my fellow Illyrians. And it's a beautiful story. It's really quite good. And it's anchored by all the great performances in the episode.
Yeah, you are so right. She really has a kind of a small arc in this episode because, like you mentioned, when Pike sort of goes to the other side of the galaxy to try and convince her to come and defend Una, she is very very against it. Not so much because she doesn't want to help Una, but she doesn't like Federation. She doesn't like the way the Federation does politics, specifically
Yeah.
when it comes to treating her species. And because of that, she kind of shies away from it until Pike says, you could do the greater good, and if you do this, perhaps if you do this, more opportunities will be thrown your way to bring to justice those people that you couldn't before because you defend Una here. And if you get her off, who knows what doors that will open up for you as well.
Yeah, it's um I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah,
Um but
you, you got it? Or
no, I was just gonna follow up on what you just said and I just drew a blank.
okay, so I mean, it's a really cool thing that they take a
How
guest
does one
star.
draw a blank
Well,
specifically?
it just happens.
Would it have to be a pen with no ink?
Uh,
Alright, no,
I
sorry, go
guess
ahead.
so. I guess so. No, but but it's just a really cool thing that they take a guest star, and they give them sort of this mini arc that runs through the episode.
And the resolution is good too. And
Yeah,
as we
it's great.
talked about, if you want to go check out our full discussion, because this is going to be quick,
Yeah,
um, on Balloonhead Productions.
thank you.
A lot of people have done discussions on this episode, a lot of different opinions, but everybody kind of agrees that the guest star is like the highlight, and like when she's transported away, I didn't want her to go, and I wanted to see more of like what that character could do in the world of Star Trek, and I really I'm really thankful that they cast it so well, because if it could in the other hands as well as this particular episode is written, and it's weird, like can't they keep up this quality? I wonder. I mean,
No,
every episode of Strange New Worlds should be this good,
yeah. I
and
mean,
it's
look.
strange how it might not be. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look. That's going to be the challenge. I mean, on the internet this morning and a little bit yesterday, I saw uh, kind of rumblings within the Trek community because a lot of people are kind of worried about next week because a lot of people believe wholeheartedly in canon, and next week is going to sort of fudge with that from what I know. So it'll be interesting to see if the show can stay on this good run, or if they're
Well,
going to have, or if they're going to have some or if they're going to have some blowback.
no, I
Um,
won't spoil anything about the next episode. But this episode also brings up the eugenics wars and why Starfleet is so afraid of genetically augmented people.
yes.
And, you know, Una Chin Riley had to go through this thing where her family were Illyrians and, you know, they were persecuted and then they wanted to hide. And then she got her leg broken and she would have died if only for an Illyrian doctor didn't see her. And it's like this really hard struggle in her life, and it's like this constant persecution that's really akin to like uh, race relations and stuff on Earth in the 20th century, particularly, and even well up to today. But uh, the allegory leans more toward the civil rights thing, but encompasses other aspects like gender identity and sexual orientation, like any marginalized group that's persecuted for being different, you know, like people who feel like they're not a part of society and society shuns them. And it's crazy how that in the Star Trek world, that stuff went on for so long after the eugenics wars. It's like she says if they thought you were an augment, they wouldn't serve you at a store. And it's like, holy shit. Like, this is supposed to be like the loving, not Utah. I understand it's not a utopia, but it's supposed to be a more loving and open world. But this episode kind of brings to light, and had that Nero, the lawyer, says, you know, just because it's a law doesn't mean it's just. A lot of really terrible things were legal, and the resolution of it irritated me a bit because she gives her the code, and Batel is reading it. And then they flash back to just minutes before to remind you of what Una just said. When the audience is smart enough to know that when she's reading the codes, all you need is the reactions of the other characters. You don't need to flash back. Like, so that was like, oh, you kind of... that's like the one part of the episode where like, oh, you messed up. It was good. It was good. Not that it ruined the episode. It just ruined that part of it. But
Yeah.
still a great resolution and
No,
very
I think
heartfelt and moving and well written and well acted. Keep it up, Strange New Worlds. Don't fall back and
don't
do
fall back.
less than this, because this is the standard now, especially since Picard, which a lot of people accuse of just empty nostalgia. It was
Yeah, well,
actually pretty fun, engaging story, and that's what
yeah, it
it
was.
needs to be entertaining. If you're sitting there and you're like, "Oh, this doesn't work," and the character's not supposed to do this, but it doesn't make sense. Everybody see in Picard season 3, and hopefully in Strange New Worlds, the characters as we know them do what they would do, and not like some. I know people don't like the way Spock is. I think it's a little overplayed, but I see where they're going with it. But yeah, you love that Spock and Chapel stuff, and hopefully they'll
Yeah,
get
I
hooked
yeah
up or
I
something maybe.
I really I am a really heavy proponent of Spock and Chapel getting together at one point and doing some bound chikawa in his quarters. But you know, just to talk about the writing of this episode a little bit, and Una's sort of being shunned from society because of what she is. I'm not going to go into it here because I went into it in grander detail on my channel, and if you want to hear our thoughts, I highly recommend that you go over there. But I will just say that I as an individual, I really connected with Una's plight in this episode, and I really felt for her, especially because when we find out why she did what she did and the main reason for it, I was like, I'm with you. I hear you 100% on that.
Yeah, I think it's the best episode of Strange New Worlds so far.
I would definitely agree with that. No doubt about that.
All right, let's move on to the sad news.
Let's go. Let's rock.
Well, that wasn't supposed to be a ticker.
Oh,
Let's
sorry.
edit that.
Oh no.
There you
You're
go. No,
controlling it.
no.
Yeah, why did I apologize for? I'm control. You're
Star
controlling, not me.
Star Trek Discovery. Well, that too.
Oh,
That
that
too.
too. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I don't laugh. I mean, it's 5 seasons. That's pretty damn good, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's damn good.
Well, not damn good in terms of. I'm not saying it equals quality. I'm just saying like it had staying power long enough for 5 seasons for whatever reason that may be. It's a very middle of the road film, TV show. Strange New Worlds is like right there with it for me.
Hmm.
Prodigy actually was, in my opinion, the best modern Trek show that they had up until that point. Picard season 3 kind of over overpassed it, but when that first season was going, I thought it was like the best Trek they had. Janeway was there, and it was about a group of alien kids, and the animation was decent. And it was like kind of an extension of Voyager, and but just to be clear, season 2 is in post production. It will not go on Paramount Plus. It is being taken off Paramount Plus completely soon. And what will happen is the creators will, I guess, shop it. See, what a lot of
Shop it
people,
around.
streamers are doing now is if they take something off, they're like, well, we have it. The reason they're not keeping things on because they have to pay to keep them on. They make it,
Mm.
but they still have to pay the people who made it uh, to keep it on. So they take it off
Residuals.
in order to save money. And what they do is, well, we have the thing. We can still license it out. I don't know, for example, in Canada, Crave, the streaming service, has all the Star Trek stuff besides the movies.
Yeah, I mean,
And I wonder if Prodigy will disappear from there as it will in the United States.
no, I mean, look, licensing out Star Trek Prodigy to another streamer is a really good idea. Like one potential place that in states that I saw somebody mention a little bit earlier when the news came down, that individual said that they should license it out uh, to Pluto TV, which incidentally enough, Pluto TV is controlled by Viacom, CBS. So just port it over there
Well,
if you.
my prediction is it will end up on Netflix.
Okay.
I
And
think for
and
Netflix to
Netflix
have a Star Trek show that is like theirs now, not theirs technically, but licensed
to
exclusively to
them,
them, I mean globally, that
that'd
would
be
be a
great.
great thing. Like
That'd be really great.
it will literally be like a Netflix. What Netflix does is that, like
Netflix original.
if they obtain a thing, for example, Orange is the New Black is made by Lionsgate,
Yeah.
but Lionsgate. I
It's
don't know why I
gate.
said it like that.
Gate.
Lionsgate.
It's a gate.
It's a
It's
gate
a
for the
line in a
lions.
gate.
Yes, but it's billed as an original, even though like other people make it. If Netflix
Yeah.
is like, well, it's ours exclusively for whatever, however long. For
Yeah.
example, the Marvel
Uh,
Netflix shows like Daredevil and Luke Cage and all that.
yeah. Yeah. That's
Those were
Netflix
Netflix's
originals.
shows, and now they're not at all.
No, they're
I
not.
mean, technically they were on there, but they're Disney Plus shows now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, but
weird.
when they first came out, they were produced and they were shown. They were Netflix original. They were Netflix originals from the ground up.
Yeah,
That's
Netflix. Yeah, had the
yeah.
Um,
But I really like that possibility of Prodigy getting a new home at a place like Netflix. And you mentioned it. If it goes to Netflix, that would solve the the distribution problem that Star Trek seems to have. Because like I don't understand what the hell like like CBS Viacom is doing, but their distribution to other territories that isn't the U.S. or Canada is very very strange,
it's
and
yeah,
it's just awful.
like
Um,
in Canada and Paramount Plus, you only have the first four seasons of Discovery,
yeah.
Picard season 1, and
Mhm.
nothing else in terms of TV shows. They
Oh,
took
okay.
all. They took Next Gen, TOS, the TOS movies, the Next Gen movies, completely off it last month, and
No,
they haven't come back.
the other thing that I see people complaining about is that if you like they're really complaining that they're gonna take Prodigy off of Paramount Plus. But I say, guys, if you love the show, just buy it on your digital platform of choice, or buy it
Physical
on
media.
Blu-ray. It's out there.
Yeah. What I think, what is it? Showtime and Paramount Plus are merging. So like
Yes,
they not only canceled Prodigy, they canceled the beloved Grease Rise
sequel,
of the Pink Ladies.
ladies. Yeah,
Bro, nothing is sacred.
bro, nothing is sacred. Yeah, but you know what? But also, today's climate with streaming services is so haphazard, and it's so difficult to start and to invest your time in a new show. Because let's say I invest my time in a new show, I watch the whole first season, and then I get so excited, but then I find out that they canceled the show after the season that I watched. So to be honest, I am really hesitant about starting a new show because I'm so terrified that from from the moment I start watching it to maybe the next day, an announcement's going to come out that it's canceled, and then all the time that I wasted watching the show doesn't mean shit anymore.
Raised by Wolves on HBO Max, 2 seasons, and they didn't really resolve it. And the show was wacky, weird, and brutal, and some parts of it are just like, oh, so hard to watch. Um, it's like this. It's a strange, hard R-rated science fiction that you. It's like something you don't see very much of, and
Yeah,
they're like, you know what? This is so niche, yet so expensive. We can't do it anymore.
I can't do it anymore.
Goodbye.
No,
I
but
wonder how long Strange New Worlds is gonna last. I wonder how long
no, but
other shows will
I don't.
last.
No, I don't think that Paramount is going to touch their live action Star Trek because that's one of their keystones. And and the really stupid thing to do would be to touch one of their keystones. Like I understand touching Prodigy, and don't kill me, people that in the comment section that may love Prodigy, but Prodigy was expendable, and you know why it was expendable? Because it was Star Trek. It was Star Trek, but it was an animated Star Trek show. So by that estimation, I think to them it was expendable.
The show has been terminated.
Yeah.
Norman says, actually, not all of Prodigy Season 1 is on disc, only the first half, and today I purchased Season 1 of Prodigy for streaming on Amazon Prime, and again, only the first half of Season 1. That is
Oh
some
wow.
bullshit.
That,
I mean, the whole season is available now
yeah.
on the
That's
streamers.
some
That'll
that's
be
some
gone
bullshit.
whenever soon. So,
That's
like,
some
if
that's
you
some
want to
bullshit.
purchase it, you only have access to I would assume they would release the rest of it.
The second half.
But I don't know. Like, in the process of canceling it now, like, what can they do in terms of,
Yeah.
like, how
Yeah.
long is it going to be before we see the show on a streaming, like, see all of season 1 and then the beginnings of season 2. And here's another reason why I think I want it to end up on Netflix. I don't want to see the show go. I want to see the show go 3-4 seasons. Prodigy's the first modern Trek show where I'm like, I want it to keep going. But the other shows are like, you know what? If it went away, I'd be okay because they've got another one right around the corner. They've always
Yeah.
got like another one. So here's the deal now, Marcelo.
Sure.
Prodigy's going. Picard just went,
Yep.
and Discovery's
Going.
finishing up next year.
It's going.
And then what I mean with Prodigy going, I just mean from the Paramount Plus lineup. I think it's going to be. We're still going to see the second season, and likely beyond. Somebody's going to pick it up. It's a good show.
Okay.
Like I think it's good enough that enough people are going to recognize. Even not. I think it's a good gateway for non Star Trek fans as well, young and old.
Yeah, but
I think an adult or a child can watch it. Not a young kid, not a little kid, like someone who watches like the little like Sesame Street or something.
Yeah, but here's the thing, guys. I've always said I mean, look, and this is just me personally. Like, if I ever have children, knock on wood, I am not going to show them Picard. I'm not going to show them Prodigy for their first Star Trek experience. I'm going to show them TNG, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe that to I don't believe that to introduce someone to something, you have to show them the kiddie version of it to do that.
And here's I meant to say earlier, and I kind of like went off on a tangent, but the reason I want it on Netflix because I think they'll do the release strategy of a chunk each time.
Right?
So instead of seeing it week to week, they'd probably give you the first 10 episodes as like season 2 part 1, first 10,
Right.
and then like a few months later, part 2, the next 10.
Right.
Like it could end up on Prime, who knows. But
Yeah,
now
who
we've
knows?
got Picard going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Picard's done
Yeah, Picard's done.
with
That's
no
done.
with no apparent plans for a follow up in any fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's ideas, but I don't know. In this climate now of like, I think this whole ride of we're just gonna keep making Star Trek shows so we consistently have 5 at the same time. It's like that's not gonna work. That's not gonna sustain itself for.
Yeah, well, no, well, listen, it depends.
It can't.
No, but look, it depends the quality of the storytelling, and it depends the people that you get to be behind these shows. If the quality of the storytelling stays good, and the creators that you get for these shows are smart and they're creative, these shows can last long. But you can't just make these shows to make these shows. You have to make each show for a specific reason.
Here's my prediction about okay, so we have 3 gone now, and or potentially gone. Potentially, let's just say
Sorry,
that.
I just noticed something.
Because
I
the
have
shows
two
can always come back to like when a show goes away nowadays, like you never say never because like Frasier's coming back and Full House came, like all of these
I love
shows come
Frasier.
back. And I'm
Frasier
not
is
talking about
awesome.
the reboot either. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the extension of like the Connors or something, where it's like
Right.
an extension from a show that started like 30 years ago or something.
Right.
Um. So what's left now? After 2024 is done, what's left? Lower Decks
Yep.
and Strange New Worlds,
Yeah.
and that's it for the foreseeable future. I know there is a Section 31 movie coming,
And
apparently,
Academy, Star Trek,
and a Star Trek Academy series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but listen, look. You said that Prodigy is the best Star Trek of the modern era for you. I don't agree with that. For me, the best Star Trek that the Kurtzman era has done so far is Lower Decks, but that's just me. But yeah,
I have a little theory about it's conspiracy theory area in terms of stuff I just actually don't know, but I'm surmising maybe Picard season 3 was such a success, such
Yeah.
a demand for a legacy series. I don't think if they make one, it's going to be like an actually called Star Trek Legacy, be called something else. But the gist of it is, they should make a 7 of 9
oh, they should.
and Jack Crusher Enterprise series. It's just a no-brainer, right?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
In terms of a Star Trek show that takes place in like I
Star
say
Trek
in
Legacy, there
our,
we go.
I call it our timeline because it's the actors aging with us. So it's like it's any show that has or movie that has the opportunity to include the actors
Classic
from
actors.
TNG or Voyager or DS9. So that's the
That's
show
it.
you need. That's the show you need, right? Remember, for the longest time, Terry and everybody was saying like, "Well, there's really no plans for anything else."
Uh-huh.
And then even Akiva Goldsman came out and said, "Well, we acknowledge the demand for it. Like they know about it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we know that this is an expensive game, and we know at this point they want to save money and cut costs, but they also want to please the fans. Do you think Prodigy might be like a sacrificial lamb of sorts, where they're like, if we cut bait with this, we save so much, therefore we can probably put it into this new live action 7 of 9 show? Because them not the idea of them not even thinking or planning of a 7 of 9 Enterprise show would make no sense. If Picard season 3 sucked, I could see why not. Like, why bother? But it didn't. It was great, and we want to see more.
Okay, I really like. I have no doubt in my mind that what happened to Prodigy was a cost cutting measure because Paramount is merging with Showtime, but it also could be looked at to something that you said. They could save so much capital from exporting Prodigy out the window, that because they did that, Starfleet, Star Trek Legacy series with 7 of 9 and Jack Crusher could be more feasible in the future because they made this move.
Yeah. Another theory is, and I don't know why Patrick Stewart would keep hinting at this, and he's hinted at it more than like twice that I can remember. Oh, next generation movie, one last hurrah. Well, season 3 was supposed to be their last adventure, and if it turns out that it's not, I don't care. I wouldn't mind them coming back again in a movie, a theatrical movie. You fucking kidding me? Think about this. They've been racking their brains over what to put in a theater in terms of Star Trek, right? And they keep saying, Kelvin 4, Kelvin 4. I don't want to hear about Kelvin 4. I think if they're ever going to do a Kelvin 4, it'll be like years down the line, and it'll be like a weird offshoot thing that like they'll do for fun. It'll probably make a bit of money. Yeah. In terms of like what you do next in terms of Star Trek canon, you just make the theatrical fucking sequel to Nemesis. That's all you do.
Yeah, no,
and I've been saying that like way back, but I also said way back like that will never happen.
You know what?
And then Picard season 3 happened. I'm like, oh well, that's the closest thing we're gonna get to that. But now I'm thinking, why does Patrick Stewart keep bringing up this next generation movie?
You know what?
There you go.
Doing a next generation movie with taking some of the things that happened in Picard season 3, obviously because they would have to do that. That would be a really good idea. But I got another thing for you. What about doing a wholly original Star Trek movie with a new cast and a brand new concept?
Yeah, I think
that's crazy.
They might have gone there at some point because there's been, but they need something bankable.
Yeah, but
the bankability has to be there, and they don't want to take a risk, and that's one of the reasons Star Trek Picard season 3 was a success, because it was good, but it really did play it safe in terms of like, we're going to give you exactly what you want in terms of we're going to have Worf and Data, and we're going to have the whole crew back together on a pretty interesting, good, fun, dynamic adventure.
Sorry, but what about a Voyager feature film?
You can do any of Voyager, DS9, or TNG in any of these things, as long as it's adjacent to the Nemesis timeline. Therefore, like, meaning,
right,
like, you could use any of the actors from TNG, Voyager, or DS9, either in the new show, which would be about 7, presumably, or the new movie, which would be another movie starring Patrick Stewart and Gates McFadden and LeVar Burton and Michael Dorn and Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis. But then you have Barclay in there. You bring back, you do more in the movie.
Right.
But here's the thing: why not bring it back to tradition? And I know I'm like I'm like literally throwing millions of dollars out at that they're probably not going to spend. But if you have the Enterprise show, first season of that, if it's a success, like Picard season 3 was, what did they do back in the day? You had the TV show spun off into a movie. You
Yeah.
had TNG, the TV show, spun off into a movie.
For 2 movies.
And if you have Picard season 3 and then the 7 of 9 show spin
Movie.
off into a movie where the show is about not about Picard and the TNG crew at all. They're ancillary, they could be guest stars. Like that's the deal.
Yeah.
But this is about Seven, Jack Crusher,
And the rest of the
Micah
crew.
Burton, what's her Sydney LaForge,
Sidney LaForge, yeah.
and the next generation. That's what
Yeah.
that show is about.
About
And then coming to theaters,
the book, yeah.
Star Trek, I don't know, whatever you call it, The Last Hurrah.
Right.
And it's like, and it's not the Borg, it's not the Romulans, it's
Something
not the
else.
Klingons. It is do something that is new.
Yeah.
And don't do something new and crappy like Remans. Like when we first saw Remans and learned about Remans and stuff, I'm like, I get it, but that makeup is just so
Boring.
like you wouldn't even tell that was Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman, you can tell through like a lot of heavy makeup. That's Ron Perlman under there. And even this was like, oh, that's Ron Perlman? It's like so.
Was it Ron Perlman?
The Riemann makeup is a little too elaborate, I think.
Yeah, but was
Or
it
constricting. Constricting, I should say.
Ron Perlman? It was Ron Perlman, wasn't it?
Yeah, Nemesis, yeah. He
Oh my
was
God,
he was the viceroy
viceroy.
to the Praetor.
I had no idea that was Ron Perlman until you just said it. I had no idea. Huh.
Marcelo,
Yeah,
if you can just
What's up?
indulge me for a second while I take a minute break. There's a
Sure.
show that you like that was canceled. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure.
I'll be
I
right
will.
back.
Yeah, I think that listen, I think what PJ said there is a really really good idea. Like doing a Star Trek legacy series with Seven, Jack, and the whole crew there would be a great idea, and also using the t- the also using the next generation characters as occasional guest stars to tell us what they're doing in their lives now would be a good idea. But then to perhaps when they're there, like lay down these little pieces of story that you then would pick up in a feature film somewhere down the road, I think would be a really good bet for Star Trek if they wanted to do something like that in the future. Also, another thing to consider is that PG and I mentioned it before. Star Trek Discovery is coming to an end now, and I really think that in the future, it would be really cool to see Star Trek Discovery take the path of a lot of its predecessors and have a bit of a live action movie run in the future at some point, because I do believe that that Sonequa Martin Green is actually going to direct her first feature film. But after that, I think if she has nothing on the docket, which I don't know what her schedule is going to be like, but discussing a feature film version of Star Trek Discovery is something that I would be definitely down for, and I bet that there would be a bunch of folks down for that, maybe in the future at some point. But also to just to go back to one of my points before earlier when PJ first brought this up, I think it would be really cool to do an original Star Trek film with a brand new concept and a new crew. I understand that would be a bit of a risk from a
You do it
financial
for a
standpoint.
good. You do it for a small budget, yeah. But
Right. Right, but they're not going to do that. But yeah, but that's my take on things, I guess.
Okay, I just want to inform the audience that if you want, Marcelo, we can talk about the first episode of Marvel's Secret Invasion.
Yeah,
But there will be spoilers if you
yeah,
want
sure.
to.
I mean, sure. If you want to, I'm down to do that. Yeah.
Secret Invasion, Episode 1.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. I don't really care about the episode
I don't-
names. But
I
did
don't
you
know.
know that the opening was created with AI?
I did not know that. You know who told me that? John Campia told me that. I had no idea that it was created with AI at all. I was really taken aback
The,
by that. But you know what? There's a lot of people online that got in a tizzy because they were like, "Oh my God, it was created by AI. It's taking away jobs." And I'm like, guys, relax. It's just an opening title sequence. A lot of you skip over the opening title sequence anyway. So I was like, why are you guys getting your panties up in a bunch?
well, the thing about AI is that it's it lacks the human touch, and what it can do, it's basically a great plagiarizer.
Hmm.
It takes what already exists and kind of like makes it its own. The thing about using it as a tool, as people have pointed out, is just like any other
Right,
tool.
right.
You can do a simple thing where you say tell the AI to make this, and it's very basic, and then the AI just does like a bunch of whatever shit, and it's
Right.
incoherent as hell. You've seen those, like you've seen examples of AI generated things that are created on very basic suggestions clearly, and then there are
Hmm.
other ones that where individual images say are created and then animated together, like someone will physically put
The
the
things together.
individual generated images together and make kind of this weird artistic thing that actually does require a human touch, and there is a human element to the creation of that. The opening of Secret Invasion is an example of that, where it's not just something where they say make this and it just does all the work.
Hmm.
There's a lot of input, and the input matters.
Yeah. Look, for God's sake, the company that designed the opening sequence that used the AI as a tool, they said, guys, look, this thing was created by our artists, but we used AI to help us out. We just did not put this thing into Chat GPT and say make it. We had actual people work on this while using the AI as an assist, basically.
That being said, I don't think it's a bad thing to use it as a tool, but I think a lot of what it produces is very ugly
Yeah, I
and
don't.
distorted. It always just feels like a weird bad dream kind of imagery, and it's
Bad trip.
never. Yeah, it's some of the still images that AI can generate based on certain input are intriguing, but when
Yeah.
it comes to motion, like
Uh huh.
video, it always looks fucking it looks so weird sometimes. Like sometimes they have like these AI generated commercials where people are like morphing into each other, and like their mouths are all like they're drinking a beer and then the beer like merges with their mouth. It's like, or they're like
Uh
eating a pizza slice and then like it all just looks gross. You know what I mean? It never
huh.
looks pleasant. So I don't like the opening of Secret Invasion. The show in itself, the
Yeah.
first episode was
I.
all right. I thought it was
Yeah.
intriguing enough.
I mean. Yeah. I particularly didn't care for the opening either, and I thought the first episode of the show was okay. It was nothing to me. It was nothing to shake a stick at. The thing that I found really interesting was the death of a Marvel character who was a mainstay for a very very long time. Agent Hill, she fucking bit it. In the episode, so that was very very shocking to
That
me.
genuinely shocked me because it felt like a real death. It
Yeah, it
didn't
did.
feel like bullshit. It didn't. If they
No,
come back and if she comes back at all, I'm just gonna be like,
no,
well, that is the
no. She.
universe because anybody can come back because there's infinite numbers of
Yeah,
versions
but
of
I
people.
don't I don't I don't I don't think that she's gonna be saved. I mean, she might be, but that death was really surprising to
I
me.
mean, they've even killed Nick Fury in Winter Soldier, and
Yeah.
he came back.
Yeah, but
Um,
actually, but that was planned. Actually, that
yeah,
wasn't
I
like
know,
a.
but it's a fake out death. But they should respect her being gone now. Uh,
They should.
she played her for like I don't know, over 10 years.
Oh yeah, over 10 years, and also if they bring her back, that would undercut the motivation that Nick might feel to do what he needs to do because of her death.
Exactly. and that really affected him. And I love. Okay, you could argue that like most of the episode is just talky.
Right.
There's very little. There's some chase stuff, but there's
It's
very little
it's
action. It's mostly
a,
about
it's a
plotting
talk.
and
Yeah.
it's all about Emilia Clarke's character. She's a Skrull working with Skrull terrorists. They're gonna plan an explosion in a square in
Yeah.
Moscow. Is it Moscow?
Yeah. Moscow. Yeah, Moscow. Yeah.
And
Poor Moscow. It
dude,
always gets you sick.
what a mature show this is in terms of what I'm used to. I
Yeah.
mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier tried to be serious and tried to be grounded and down to earth and have meaning. It
Yeah.
comes across as hokey.
Yeah. It
Like they
did.
didn't quite get there. It was a good effort, but
Yeah.
it
But
felt
this show,
very. It felt like it felt very TV. You know what I mean?
this show really gets there though.
Well, the espionage kind of feel to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Also the scene when the Skull terrorist group sets the bomb off in the square is really.
Yeah, it like when Fury and they're trying to follow these guys and keep track of them, and then like, oh, it's decoy. I'm like, oh, this is classic kind of like. It does give you Winter Soldier vibes, but and Winter Soldier is in turn like
Right.
a tribute to political action thriller type. It's a bunch of things. It's something you really never got before in a superhero movie. That's why Winter Soldier I think holds up so well because it's weirdly original at the same
Yeah.
time derivative of
Other
things from the 70s and 80s. You know, it's
No,
weird,
but no,
but
but
it's a tribute too. You know, I mean, I don't mean to say like it's disparaging, but it's what makes that movie so good, well directed too, and the fights are so good. With this one, it's very talky. Olivia Colman is delightfully like insane. She's not
Quirky.
insane, but she's weird, and she plays it so well. Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson, this whole episode, he's like he's downplaying it like a lot, and three
Yeah, he
times
is.
people tell him
He's
you're
lost
not
his
the
step.
same Fury ever since you got. And then you even have him like dreaming about it, where he says,
Oh
as he's
yeah.
fading away, he's like, "Motherfuck."
Yeah.
That part is like, come on, Fury, get back in the game. And by the way, I don't need another character to tell you that you're
That
not
you-
the same. We get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah. That you've lost a step.
you know, say this shit off camera if necessary because why is everybody saying this to him? And in a way, he has changed. And even like some of the racial stuff where they're like, you're a black man in Moscow and you're going to go out walking on the streets. And how
Right,
people
right.
will look at him on the street. I'm like, oh my God, they're keeping it real in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think
They're not having some fluffy version of Moscow. It's like, you know, it's not exactly somewhere where you're gonna get jumped every 2 seconds, but
but
it is a
it's
place that is not used
to black people.
to black people. It's a fact, and you know, Jesus, if you were like two men holding hands in an alley walking in these places, like that's dangerous stuff, and it's so
Not a
sad
very
that
good idea.
it's so sad that certain places are like, oh, like all weird about that kind of stuff. Still, it's just the way they were.
Yeah.
It's the way the
Yeah,
culture is,
raised.
and they were raised and stuff. It's like, from our point of view, it's like that stuff's not accepted here where I'm from. Like we don't get on like that, and people who do are called out for it. But in other countries, it's like if you're so-called like progressive or anything, you're in the minority. You better be careful because you might get beat up or something. It's
Right.
like I don't
No,
know.
but
Scary.
but I,
Scary stuff.
like PJ said, it just depends on what part of the world that you were raised in, and we believe that the world is so progressive, but there are places in the world.
I don't believe
It's
the world is
still-
progressive.
No, but I mean, a lot of short-sighted.
When
dumb
you're a kid,
Americans.
I think when you're a kid and you're naive about like, well, you think when you find out like the horrors and in parts of the world where slavery still exists and stuff, and,
Right. No, but
and like brutality,
Right.
and you're like, oh
No.
my God, I'm so lucky to live in a part of the world where I'm not subject to that daily
No.
or wars
but
or
when-
bombs or.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is
Oh yeah, yeah.
for those Americans who, like PJ said, have that rose-colored view on the world, and when they realize that in other places of the world, the social norms aren't different. The social norms aren't the same. What we accept over here and what we rail and what we accept over here and what we are accepting of over here isn't isn't the same on the other side of the world. On the other side of the world, it still operates from a point of, you know, this doesn't make us comfortable, and because it doesn't make us comfortable, like PJ said, we're gonna call it out.
I was
You
also
know,
surprised when he sits in the bar with he buys the guy a drink. Like he's Nick Flurry's Flurry.
McFlurry.
Mick Flurry. Oh, I want some McDonald's. No,
He's ice
uh,
cream.
yeah, I'm dying for a Mick Flurry right now. No,
Okay.
Nick Fury goes into the bar and he buys the guy a drink who seems to like give him an ignorant look, and
Yeah.
he's trying to be civil and stuff. And then he sits down with Maria Hill, and he actually I won't say the word, but he says an actual racial slur
Oh yeah, that's right.
when a something like me buys them a drink or what. It's all looks until something and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and Maria Hill kind of represented to me in her response what I think a lot of the audience would have said.
Right.
You can't say that.
Yeah, but
Like there would be
but
parts of the audience where they're watching a Disney Plus Marvel show, and he says a word like that, and like you can't say that.
yeah,
But
but he just
those
did.
people in the audience like should learn like, well, context, context.
Yeah.
And then Nick Fury explains. But it's a different Marvel show, and it's Ben Mendelsohn for one thing is such a good fucking actor.
Yeah, he's
Dude.
really good. He's really good.
He just and the chemistry between. I'm almost so sad Maria's gone now, because I
Yeah.
liked everything that was going on with all of them in the first episode. But you got to make room for other characters.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look. I mean,
And the
look,
motivation, like you said, is there. Like, what a motivation for Nick Fury now to get these fuckers.
right, but
Will Carol Danvers show up?
that'd
who's-
be interesting.
There may be an excuse in the show of why, like, no Avenger will show up, but I mean, they should
Carol
give
will
us
show
a surprise or two.
Carol showing up would make sense, because the other thing that I was thinking is like, how the hell is this human guy Nick Fury going to deal with this scroll problem? Like,
And
what?
where's the continuity between Ms. Marvel, this one, and then Captain Marvel? Because according to what just happened in the Marvel universe, if it's like a concurrent timeline or whatever, or the shows are in order, then Carol Danvers just arrived on Earth.
Oh wait, yes.
She
Wait a minute.
switched. Spoiler for Ms. Marvel, but she switches places with
With
Kamala Khan.
Yeah, with Kamala Khan. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. She went to the freaking. Yeah, I forgot that. In
But
Miss-
if you watch
Miss
the
Marvel.
trailer for the Marvels, it seems to pick up where that show left off. So I'm wondering. I'm just wondering where in
What?
that
where
in it
like,
takes.
what-
But they might explain it like Carol
might.
Danvers is here or something. But
Yeah,
like,
but also
isn't she
but-
Isn't she on Earth now? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, but also, Carol Danvers showing up is a really interesting proposition, because again, how is Nick Fury going to deal with this skull problem? He is just a human, and he has Telos, but that's it. He doesn't even he doesn't even have a Florkin.
He's gonna need backup. You know, it'd be
Yeah.
so fucking cool. And I know that this won't happen. It's just too cool to happen. Is if some of the backup were the Guardians, but not like
that'd be
Quill,
cool.
not Quill, but like no spoilers for Guardians 3, but like the way they leave it off, who the Guardians are at the end of that movie.
What
show
about
up.
Rocket? What if Rocket shows up?
Have you seen
That-
Guardians 3?
Yes.
Well, you know that like Rocket's the leader,
Leader now.
and Groot's there, and other people. It's a different group.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, it's a different group of Guardians than it was previously. So, like, the original Guardians of the Galaxy are done
Disbanded,
as we know them. But they could show up. But why? There have to be a certain
but
reason.
also, but again, I really think there is a strong reason because again, the only thing that Nick Fury's got that he can use is freaking Talos. And like I said, he doesn't even have a Flurkin. So I'm constantly thinking, what the hell is Nick Fury? I'm saying it now. What the hell is Nick Fury going to do against a bunch of Skrulls if he has no powers? What is he going to do?
Well, it's likely he's gonna team up with Olivia Colman's character, who I love. I love Olivia Colman. It's like you put her in this show, points, automatic points. You put her in it because I discovered her in a show called Peep Show, which is one of my favorite. I've watched it like 5 times over.
Yeah. The first time that I discovered Olivia Colman was in the show called Broadchurch, the British version.
Broadchurch. I've watched that show too.
I love
it's
that
about a murder.
show. Yeah,
Someone got murdered and they got solved a case. I don't know what I'm doing there. But David Tennant and Olivia Colman, what a fantastic show that was. Yeah, and they did an American remake.
It was awful.
With Anna Gunn. She was the wife in Breaking Bad. I think her name is Anna Gunn. I could be wrong.
No, it's Anna Gunn.
And David Tennant, I love these I love these examples of an actor playing the exact same role in a remake of a thing.
Yeah.
For example, Penelope Cruz plays except for one movie she speaks Spanish, I believe, and the other movie she speaks English. That's the only difference, but it's the same. I think it's the same
character.
lines and everything. Yeah. It's Vanilla Sky.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And the original version of that movie is superior. The Tom Cruise version is wonky. It's same movie. It's the same movie, but it's like the way it's done. It's not right. It's not as good.
You know what?
Same thing with the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yep.
Michael Nyqvist, who Daniel Craig played his character in the American remake.
Mm-hmm.
I think both of those movies, both the original and the remake, are equally good.
Okay.
And that's so rare that like each one, even though they're identical movies, there's very little difference in each movie,
right.
except in style and their actors and some dialogue and whatnot. But man,
right? No, but
Olivia
Olivia Colman is a hell of an actress.
God love her.
And
did you see what was that movie she was in with Nicholas Hoult?
Shit. Oh my god! What the hell?
She won the Academy Award.
Olivia
Colman Academy Award.
Yeah, like French, like.
The Favorite.
Not the favorite. The favorite.
She was so good in that. I actually won money on her.
Oh, really? Cool.
I put a big bet on her to win, and she was in the lower odds for whatever reason.
Cool.
I'm like, no, she's gonna win that, and I won like fucking $250, dude.
That's awesome.
I shouldn't be talking about gambling, but
that's fine. It's fine.
I don't do it. Really. Only on the Academy Awards. I don't even watch sports.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Who doesn't belong to an Oscar pool every year? Come on. Even I belong to an Oscar pool.
Well, this is actually legal gambling that you do at the store. Like you fill out a form, and they give you a list of like the odds for certain actors.
Oh, you filled out a form?
And sometimes the odds seem very off, so I bet on the ones where I'm like, you seem to be you're giving this person in the lower chance the more money you get back, but you have to put in a decent bet because you're only betting on one thing.
Right. No,
but I only do that like once a year. Yeah.
For the Oscars?
Yeah, but I don't even do that anymore. I'm like, fuck it. None of it makes sense to me anymore. There's too much stuff. It's not as easy as it was. Moonlight is an example of a movie I won a lot of money on. I think it was the same year.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I was like the year that Moonlight won Best Picture, I was so upset because
La La Land, dude.
Yes.
They announced La La Land. I said, fuck. I didn't get that one. I didn't get that one. I'm glad I didn't tear up the ticket. I'm glad I didn't tear up the ticket.
I got
Because I
so
went to
fucking-
bed and then I found out that the motherfucking thing was a mistake and that Moonlight actually did win the money. You know what's funny? I made my
What?
dad bet on Moonlight. I'm like, Dad, put like so much. I won't say how much,
And
but
what'd
I'm
he
like,
say?
put this much on Moonlight. And he's like,
Yeah.
what? He didn't understand any of this stuff. He's like, okay, I trust you. And I told him, like, keep buying a few more tickets because it's gonna win it. And then it didn't. Apparently, Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway announced the wrong thing. And then I found out, I'm like, I did win money.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, gambling is bad because when you have those little wins, it doesn't equal the amount of stuff you kind of wasted your money on.
Yeah. No, but look, I was so pissed when Moonlight won over won over La La Land, because to me La La Land is my favorite musical of all time. So I go, fuck. But whatever.
Yeah, Crash won. Remember Crash won?
Oh, that was
Best Picture?
bad.
And it
I
was
remember
like,
that year.
I saw that movie. It wasn't that good.
Yeah. I mean, Crash.
Matt Damon as that creepy cop was like, oh god.
Yeah, I mean, look. Look. I've seen Crash once, and I never want to see it again.
So, Secret Invasion episode 1. Good,
Yeah,
bad, okay.
It's fine.
I think it's good stuff.
I
don't think it's the
I'll go with
Andor of. I compare everything to Andor now. I think Andor is so good
Yeah.
that Star Trek should have that quality in storytelling and execution, and also Marvel should have that. And hopefully, Picard doesn't come close to that though. Picard's a completely different entity than Andor. Andor is a very serious,
Yeah.
cohesive kind of thing, and
Story,
then
right.
Picard is very space adventure kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
Secret Invasion hopefully is the Andor of Marvel shows.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for God's sakes, poor Marvel can use a win at this point, because the only win that they've had recently is Guardians 3.
You want to talk about this DC stuff? Because here's the thing. You've seen Flash, right?
Yeah, no, but but we could talk about it. I don't care.
No. I'm not going to talk about the movie. I'm just going to talk about DC Troubles. That's the headline. DC Troubles.
Okay, I haven't seen Flash.
DC Troubles. They got troubles up their
on the
assholes.
water, woo.
DC Troubles. A new segment on Boatrek Live.
You sound like Casey Kasem there.
I'm Casey Kasem. And here's the American Top 40. No, that's... and we're going to take a letter from Josh.
This is from John
Who misses his puppy dog.
This is from John from Red Dick, New Jersey. Yeah, so DC's in some shit right now. There's no doubt about that.
I should make a video with some titles and it'd be like DC Troubles. On this segment of DC Troubles, Blue Beetle bombs at the box office. Aquaman 2 bombs at the box office. Nobody wants to see these fucking movies anymore.
You know. Just to be clear, Blue Beetle has not come out yet, but there's a high possibility that it will bomb, because poor Flash bombed like a ton of bricks.
Okay, I made the mistake of watching this movie, going to a theater and sitting down with 12 other
Why?
people who
Why?
did not react to the movie at all. They were like the deadest audience. And no, I don't blame them. I don't blame them because I was the same way.
Yeah, but yep.
There's a big smile on my face when Nicolas Cage, spoilers for Flash. Who gives a shit? Everybody, this was revealed early on anyway. When Nicolas Cage shows up fighting that big spider, I'm sure nobody got it. But I was a big smile. I didn't like say anything, but it was a big smile on my face. I'm like, I think I'm the only one here who understands what that means. Like Kevin Smith
Right.
abandoned
Yeah.
Tim Burton
Yeah. And
type Superman movie, that whole thing.
yeah, and God bless
John Schnepp made
God.
a documentary about it called "The Death of Superman Lives: What Happened."
Yeah, God bless. God bless. The beloved John Snap. He made a great film about that whole situation.
Schnepp was the best, and
He was awesome, man.
he's one of these
Snap.
guys. I didn't
Yeah.
know. I mean, obviously, but I did
Yeah.
speak. I did talk to him a bit, like when he was around, because
Yeah.
I was interested in his documentary and stuff, and he had a really hard time making
Doing
that,
it. Yeah.
and it took
Mhm.
a lot out of him, and
Yeah.
he got really hurt when people were pirating
Pirating
the
off.
movie. Now I purchased the whole streaming package. I still have it on this computer. I should have bought it on physical media.
No, actually, hold on one second. I'm going to show you some. But I had the pleasure to speak to Schnepp, as well during the whole Kickstarter for the Death of Superman Lives What Happened. As a matter of fact, I was a
Did you
finishing
contribute as
funder.
well?
Yeah,
Yes.
I was.
Okay. Yeah.
I was.
I
Were
contributed
you?
what I could.
Oh, you were one too. Okay.
Well, I bought.
Yeah,
I
but
bought. I bought the. I know. Did I? I don't know if I. While he was making it,
yeah.
but I did
No,
buy
but
the. I did buy the stuff off his
yeah.
website. Like.
Let me I will be right back. I have something to show you. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. So I would encourage the audience to look up the documentary "The Death of Superman Lives: What Happens." Kevin Smith is in there too, but Tim Burton is there. It's all about the abandoned Superman film from the late 90s called Superman Lives, which was supposed to be directed by Tim Burton and starring Nicolas Cage. Now, in The Flash, there are segments where they show different versions of Superman. They show Christopher Reeve and Supergirl from 1984. They show George Reeves from the original TV series. They show Adam West, and one of the biggest things is they show Nicolas Cage from the concept of what Superman Lives was supposed to be, and it's the third act where he's fighting a giant spider, which was mandated by the producer, who went on to produce Wild Wild West with Will Smith, and at the end of that movie there is a giant spider. There's a Evening with Kevin Smith is a video in which he talks about his experiences on Superman Lives, which was probably partially the inspiration for John Schnepp's or that story that Kevin tells is probably
Yeah.
partly the
But
inspiration for that documentary.
yeah, actually, John Peters is also in the documentary, which is the producer that wanted the spider in the movie.
Yeah, John Peters, yeah, wacky dude,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and he said that, and he also mentioned to Kevin in one of the early meetings that Superman should have bodyguards in the Fortress of Solitude.
Dude, I tried to read Kevin Smith's Superman Lives script.
Did you
I
read
mean,
it?
I'm sure anybody can get it.
Did you read it?
But this was years ago, and it was just, I thought it was like too out there. I'm like, man, this space stuff and
Yeah. Now,
really deep.
listen. Yeah.
Brainiac's a part of it and stuff like that. And,
Yeah. Listen. Here's what I wanted to show you.
okay, I'm gonna full screen you.
Yeah. This is the DVD that I got as a finishing funder of John Schnepp's film.
Hold it up a bit, or position it where it's not reflecting off the light. I'll tilt it up
better?
a bit. Tilt it up. There you go. Right there.
Yeah.
And hold it closer. Closelier. There you go. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
The Death
John,
of Superman Lives: What Happens. Yes. It's
and John
great.
signed it too.
So you met him?
No, actually, I no.
Oh
actually,
no!
I
Yes.
spoke-
He would send
Yeah,
out the sign. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I actually spoke to him though, and I thanked him for signing and everything. And this is actually the special edition. So this has the DVD, a Blu-ray, and and the bonus disc that's loaded with special features. And the primary disc that also has a documentary is also loaded with special features as well.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I believe that John Schnapp's widow, because at the time of his death he was going to get married, which he never got a
He
chance
was
to do,
engaged to
unfortunately.
Holly, I believe her name was.
Yeah, yeah, Holly Payne. I believe that she's still selling these. I believe that if you want to get one, they're still available. I think.
Well, I'm gonna look into that. Uh, because I know this computer is gonna die, and I should just transfer mine to a flash drive or something. But then again, that's not reliable for
Yeah.
proper storage.
Also, the lovely the YouTube famous Robert Meyer Burnett was also in the documentary.
Yes, and see and the most special thing about the entire Flash movie, aside from there's an emotional element with his mother and all that that actually
Was
works.
was the was the spider was the Nicolas Cage thing.
Yeah, and this dynamic between a younger and an older Barry, and like how that work, how
How that
that
works.
clashes, was entertaining. And seeing Michael Keaton and all this, and but the movie doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's one of these things where it's like multiverse plus time travel, and none of it has a real
None of it makes
explanation.
sense.
And some people who would see the movie would be like, "No, they explain it in the movie. That they're
Do they?
spaghetti, and spaghetti does a weird thing." And I'm like, the spaghetti thing is stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Wait a
It's
minute. Wait a minute.
something
So
about
you said,
spaghetti. Something about spaghetti.
so wait a minute. So wait a minute.
Okay.
Are you actually telling me that they compare time travel to spaghetti?
Yeah. Well, Bruce Wayne does. He's
Okay.
like, okay, so Barry messes with time, but it's like it affects things that it shouldn't affect. Like people aren't born. It affects things way in the past, and then ahead. It creates this like rupture where like little things are different, and like a lot of things can be really different. It's all over the place. It doesn't have any rules. So what happens is he goes back in time, and he ends up in a place where now instead of Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton is Batman,
Yeah.
and there are no soups. And by the way,
Wow.
Eric Stoltz was the star of Back to the Future.
Get out of
Uh,
here.
Tom Cruise was the star of Footloose, I think.
What? No.
And
I gotta
Kevin
see it.
Bacon was the star of Top Gun, something like
Oh.
that.
Oh my
It's
God.
so that even before you know Batman is still around, because Barry's like, oh, there's no soups, there's no metahumans. Uh, so,
Right.
there's so many things in the movie. It's just like, okay, I guess this is happening. Like that's all I can,
That
without spoiling too much. Is all I can really explain. Like it's like, I guess, because spaghetti. So what Bruce Wayne is like explaining why he's there and not Ben Affleck. He's like, well, man, you mess with time. He's all wacky and weird and old, right? He's that typical like, he's what you would expect the Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne to evolve into. He's like got a beard, long hair, and he's wacky and he's crazy.
a beard, a long hair, and wacky and crazy. Okay.
Yeah. He does a good fight scene at the beginning when they first meet him in the kitchen, and it's the exact same kitchen from the old movie, right?
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Cool.
they show the Batmobile for no reason. It doesn't plays no part in the movie. They're
Oh,
just like,
wow.
here's the Bat, and you're thinking,
Wow.
well, they might
It
use that,
doesn't.
and they're like, no, they don't.
It,
They
it,
don't use
it
it.
doesn't. They don't use it.
No, there's a lot of
But
weird. The movie's just a fucking mess, dude. But
yeah,
it's somehow mildly entertaining throughout. Just on
yeah,
the
but they
novelty factor of it, it's like, okay, Keaton's last hurrah. Supergirl shows up very late, but when she's there, it's like, oh, okay, cool. And then the
and
Zod
then she
stuff
dies,
plays
right?
out, and it's so
And she dies.
anticlimactic, dude. When the Zod stuff play, and you're like, oh, now it's done, and this whole sequence of events happens that
And
is
she
so
dies.
blatantly. If you want to talk about empty member berries or nostalgia bait with no purpose or meaning or logic whatsoever, you know what their logic is for showing everything?
What?
Multiverse time travel? I guess. I don't know.
Oh,
And
boo.
you're seeing things like, why am I seeing this? It's cool to see
But why?
all of these references to DC, Batman, and Superman stuff. Sure. But it all looks like the CG is all wonky as hell. Like, and the director's like, it's a stylistic choice. And animators have explained, like,
It's not.
this is hard work. Hard work. They want it fast and cheap, and this is what you get. It's not really the artist's fault. It's the amount of time they're given to work on a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and the money the studios are willing to pay because they're overworked and underpaid. At, and when that continues, you get what you pay for,
Yeah, you do.
and that's
Yeah,
just
you.
how what it boils down to.
Yeah, you. Yeah, no. PJ is not lying about that. You definitely get what you pay for with visual artists, and visual artists are one of the most abused in the industry now because it's ridiculous what they do to these poor people.
I love the use of the Batwing. The Batwing does some cool things you haven't seen before. There's some gadgetry that works.
Cool.
Some of the fights with Batman are too dark and they're
Yeah, no,
visceral, but you can't really see what's
no,
going
but
on.
I, no, but I, but true or false that I mean at this point I don't care. Supergirl dies and Michael Keaton dies too, right?
Over and over again. So
Oh God,
their parts in the whole thing are inconsequential. It's if you really think about the movie,
it's
it's
so
just like
stupid.
it's such an empty. It just it's like they're throwing candy at you, and it's
Without
like
without
I don't know.
whatever.
It's weird. It it can it. I would recommend anybody would watch it on like a streamer when it's like on Prime or wherever it
I'll watch
is,
it.
wherever it shows up HBO Max,
Yeah, it's gonna show up on HBO, so I'll see it then.
which I think will be very soon. I don't know. I think we're gonna see it very soon on HBO Max or Crave in Canada.
Oh wow, look at well not to change the conversation, but I just found out that Cheers is coming to Peacock for some reason. What?
Making
Cheers
your
is
way
coming to
in the
Peacock.
world today takes
Yeah,
everything you got.
yeah, I love Cheers. Do you love Cheers, PJ?
I love Cheers.
Or
I
you are
remember
you are you a Frasier guy?
like 5 years ago or something. I saw it on streaming in
Yep.
HD on Show Me.
Oh really?
It was a different. It doesn't exist anymore.
Oh yeah, that's
But
right. You
but it was on
you
Show Me
talked
and it was in like immaculate HD.
really?
And
Wow.
I'm like, what? How? I've never seen a sitcom
How?
remastered like this. Like it was amazing to me. And then of course, actually, that's a lie. Seinfeld was the first one. Seinfeld was the first remastered sitcom I ever saw in like full HD, where I was like, "Whoa, it's very crisp and clear," and because
Right.
it was filmed on 35 millimeter film, and
Mm-hmm.
when you scan the negatives, you can really up res.
Upskill
You
it.
can really make it look good. It does have film grain and stuff like that, but
That's cool.
Cheers. And they didn't do the widescreen. They didn't do the 4:3. I did see somewhere like a version where it's cropped, or
Yeah.
or framed differently. I should say, not necessarily completely cropped.
Yeah.
But it was in the 4:3, and I was just into it, man. I watched Cheers the whole series. But getting back to DC, here's the thing: Flash
Yeah.
flopped.
Uh-huh.
Nobody cares anymore. I watched Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Couldn't get through it. And I could get through Black
Really?
Adam when that came on streaming. Didn't see that in theaters. Didn't think it was all that. And then boom, what happens?
I really
Did,
think I really think that the audience is checked out of the remaining DC movies that are going to come out because here's the thing, people. In 2025, they're going to do it all over again with a brand new universe. So
here's what I don't like. James Gunn is all about like this is a new DC universe, but there
yeah,
seems to be a transition of they're doing what Arrowverse did. When
yeah,
Arrowverse
what?
wanted to change things up and like they had that multiverse stuff,
Yeah,
where they changed like certain continuity,
uh-huh.
but it was like just a different reality. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So like that's what I think James Gunn wants to do with this. He
You know
he
what?
wants to
Because
pick and choose what he wants to keep
well,
from
that's
the old
stupid.
DCU. That's what I'm saying. You can't fuck around. It's brand confusion. Like for one thing, you have fucking this
No,
movie Flash, and you got Batman Ben Affleck. People are like, "Oh, he's back again." Like I thought it was fucking Pattinson. People don't get, like the general public are like, what is going on?
yeah, but
Which
here's the
which one am I supposed to stick with? Which
here's
one is
the
going to have
thing.
the story continuity that's going to
Here-
sustain me and get
Here's the
me
thing.
interested in watching this series of
I
movies?
don't, I don't agree with that at all because I think he should do a hard sell reboot. So the fact that he's doing that is really pissing me off.
So, this is a necessary spoiler for Flash post credit scene, which I didn't even stick around for. I watched it on YouTube. I never stick around for the very end credit things.
No.
I stick around for the mid one,
Oh,
but I always look up the
oh,
last
you
one
like mid credits.
because I don't have time to sit around and watch credits for fucking 10 minutes or whatever.
10 minutes.
It may not even be 10 minutes, but it feels like an eternity watching those fucking things.
Right.
Like just words go across the screen. If the
Yeah.
music's good, maybe. If like they had some technotronic, baby,
Techno-
let me show you how to
Yeah. Technotronic. Come on. Back in the day,
pump up the jam, pump it
Come
up.
on. Come on. Technotronic back in the day was awesome, people.
Oh yeah, remember that
Yeah.
song? Everybody dance now.
Get up. Yeah. Everybody dance now. It's on. Yeah. Everybody get up. It was time to. Yeah. Well, that's something else.
Get up, get busy, do it. Get up, move that body.
Also, the Banga Boys, like the Banga Buses. Sorry. Yeah,
Coming and everybody dance.
jump. Yeah, New York is
It was that
something
wasn't that the Six Flags theme?
Yeah, that was. And you had the Six Flag old guy.
Oh man, he gave me
Wildin' out.
nightmares.
Yeah, wiling out to that thing every fucking. Do you remember those commercials?
SNL in the last 2 seasons or so, I think it was last season,
Yeah.
did a one of those where like there's a bunch of them, like a bunch of the actors are the old men.
Okay.
Six Flags. That's hilarious.
Okay.
Okay, but getting back to DC, here's the thing with James Gunn, dude.
Sorry about that.
He said, "Goddamn, Flash was one of the greatest superheroes." What are you on? Why are you saying that?
Yeah. No,
He's blowing
no,
smoke,
not.
dude, and it makes me not trust him. But he's a good filmmaker. Like I like Guardians 3,
Yeah.
and I
No.
like
I mean,
1,
look,
and I
think,
like
No.
the Suicide Squad.
No, I absolutely think that James Gunn was completely doing what he was supposed to do when he was talking about the Flash movie. I don't think that he really thinks it's the best movie ever. I think that he's just doing that just to promote the thing that he works for now.
So he said, this is the weird thing he said about Blue Beetle. Blue
do you
Beetle
say
is the
about-
first character in the new DCU, not the DCEU. That's the difference. And
No, I mean,
but Superman is the first official movie. I'm like, all right, well, I'm checked
No,
out
I mean,
already on that statement
also-
alone. Like, you just lost me, dude. Stop it.
also, I think that's a bunch of bullshit. I don't think that Blue Beetle is a part of his new DCE plan. I think that's a bunch of bullshit as well. So basically, what I think James Gunn is doing right now, I think he's just trying to save face for the material that he has left that has nothing to do with him.
You know what? If I had control and they said, start from scratch, whole new DCU,
Or do you?
I would go somewhere the way in with Batman of the Pattinson thing. But here's what
Okay.
I wouldn't do that exactly. But here's what I would do: you start your very
Uh-huh.
first movie, like what they did originally with Man of Steel, which wasn't supposed to be technically a universe yet, but they made it a universe.
Mm-hmm.
Retroactively became the first film in the DCEU, even though at the
Really?
time nobody was like, this is a part of because the continuity in the DCU was always independent. It was always never really connected, right? But it wasn't
Uh-huh.
like Marvel was doing just very recently started doing. So Start with Superman. Here's the thing. Make it, set it. I would say my original vision of it was like set it in the 1950s. Do a literal movie
That'd be-
version of the George Reeves.
That'd be cool.
George
Show?
Reeves. George Reeves, I believe his name is George Reeves.
Show?
It's Christopher Reeve, George Reeves.
Yeah,
Yes,
Show?
and yeah, and have it that classic kind of thing.
Okay.
Right? And get this.
Yeah.
You can do a Batman movie that takes place in the same universe. Same.
Huh.
No, don't have Gotham and Metropolis next to each other. Here's the thing. Wait. Here's what you do. I gotta stop saying. Here's the thing. Here's what you do. Here's what you do with Gotham and Metropolis.
Yeah.
You make Metropolis L.A. and you make Gotham New York, and you actually have them very far apart on the other ends of the country, as
That's
fictional big cities.
That's awesome. That's a really good idea.
But after setting this, I see the reason why I would be apprehensive about going way back to the 50s because you would have to deal with a lot of uncomfortable things, like
Yeah, but what?
the way women are treated, the way minorities are treated, and stuff like that. I've brought this up, and people have always been like, "Well, that's just a Christopher Reeve movie done over again," and I say, why not set it in the 70s? Why not set a Superman movie in the 70s?
Yeah, peace and love, right?
Well, that's more the 60s, but you can do 60s, but I would say 70s, but not exactly like this exact same year as the 70s movie.
Yeah,
Maybe like 70, maybe 72, 73.
Uh-huh.
That way you could have a believable Clark Kent Superman situation where the surveillance in the world is not sophisticated enough to track him to find out his identity, which is always a problem with modern films.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Then when you want to do your Batman movie is next. Set it. You know where you set it? In the late 80s. Set it in 1988 or something like that.
Oh, cool. Like Tim Burton's Batman thing.
Yeah. So Batman in reality is coming. It's like the opposite of what they did with the DCU, where Batman is old and Superman is young. This is where Superman is much older than Batman. So Superman has been around since the 50s at this. So by the time Batman starts, Superman has been around for 35 plus years.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a really cool idea. I like that a lot, PJ.
And then you go with Batman in the late 80s, which gives you an opportunity to use technology that we are aware of now, but that wouldn't have existed. That would be super advanced for Bruce Wayne and his company, but not necessarily for the general public.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. You could also avoid the issue of Batman being easily surveilled and tracked and discovered, which is always a problem with modern takes on superheroes. It is very easy to find out who these fuckers are.
Yeah, because the internet and shit.
Yeah.
With the modern day, right?
And then whatever you do ancillary, and then Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Do a set in the 30s or 40s.
That would be really cool.
So that the Wonder Woman actor and the Superman actor can have a chance in their timeline 70s
to get together.
to get together.
Yeah, that'd be a really cool idea. I like
So
that
Superman's much older than Batman, and then Wonder Woman is even much older than Superman.
Right. No, but you know what? I like that a lot, but I don't think he's gonna do that.
No, that's never gonna happen. That in my mind, that's a scenario in my mind that's too good to be true. If they ever did that, I would be so doubtful of it because I'm like, it can't be as I imagined.
But who knows? Who knows? You know, maybe one day they'll do something that you prognosticated first.
Did you ever have that vision of a movie that would be, and then like they finally like made it?
Yeah, I did.
When Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out, I'm like, the next one's obviously gonna be Venom. No doubt.
I remember.
Then it's Octopus Guy.
No, I remember watching back at look. I will admit that I love these movies because they came out when I was a kid, but despite that, they still seemed a bit off to me. I remember watching Batman Forever, going, Why is it so colorful? This Gotham looks nothing like the Batman '89. What the fuck is going on here? And I remember thinking to myself, I wish somebody would take Batman seriously and put him like on a street level. And years later, years in 2005, it actually happened.
Did you see the latest Fat Man on Batman?
No, I did not. I have not yet.
Well, there is talk of Kevin Smith and one of his critics of
Oh yeah.
Clerks
Oh,
3 talked to him
the
about the cut of the director's cut of Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever, which is
really
like 20 minutes longer or something.
cool. Is it available somewhere?
No. It's not official. It's a bootleg.
Oh,
It's
shit.
but it's basically an assembly cut with temp track and stuff like that.
Okay,
It's
cool.
not a complete cut. It's like kind of like Richard Donner-ish Superman cut
Thing?
feel to
Okay.
it. Except it's
Okay.
not as weird as that. They actually filmed a man bat scene. You can actually see some of the stuff on YouTube.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But it's the extended cut. And
But
this guy who gave let Kevin see the extended cut of this movie. They talked about all the subtle changes. Like there's a lot more voiceover that explains expositionally what's going on. Like for example, when they're in the vault, Batman
Yeah.
and the security guard,
yeah.
you hear the guard say, "Oh, it's boiling acid." It's like this really cartoony voiceover kind of thing. That's not
Okay.
in that cut. So there's a lot of added things. Like, is the audience so dumb that they wouldn't know that that's acid? We have to
yeah,
have the
no.
character say
It's
that
boiling
there's acid in the
You know,
vault.
speaking of that movie, you know who was one of the many writers on that movie?
So Akiva
Our good
Goldsman.
our good old friend Akiva Goldsman. Yeah, good old friend Akiva Goldsman.
Yeah. The way I write movies is just I just let the imagination flow. I don't even think about logic or
Nope.
reason.
I watched the thing that Robert Meyer Burnett did talking about Strange New Worlds and complaining about Akiva Goldsman, and I was sitting. I mean, not to bring it to a negative place, but I was sitting there going, Rob, don't you have anything better to do with your time to complain about new Star Trek? You hate the fucking new Star Trek, so go and do something else, man.
So this guy who was on the Fat Man and Batman, he's like a guest guy. He was really critical of Clerks thing. They had a whole discussion about and he actually pitched a better idea for the end of Clerks 3. What? Are you
Really?
okay? What are you doing with your mouth?
Sorry, I'm okay. I have this. I put some markers in my mouth. I have this thing. Sorry about that. But thanks for asking me if I was okay. Yeah. What was it? What was?
I
Sorry.
was like, are you in distress?
No. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I was like, no, I was. I'm
Are
fidgeting.
you single? Are you trying to say is someone in your house in your room right now and you're being held hostage?
No,
Just trying
no,
to-
no, I'm fidgeting. I like sometimes I get fidgety and I
Oh,
grab
we'll-
random shit.
We'll wrap it up in a bit. I'll let you go.
Sorry.
But-
Sorry, sometimes I grab random shit and I start fidgeting. I'm sorry. So,
So
what are
this,
you saying about
this
what are
guy
you saying about Clerks
who
3?
gave Kevin Smith the director's cut of Batman Forever, and it's never going to be a real thing that's going to happen. It's not going to. There's never going to be an official version of that.
Okay.
And the way they describe it, it's a more serious tone like this version, but still
Okay.
it's wacky and goofy, and
Okay.
it still ends up. They say Tommy Lee Jones's lines sound different.
Really
In-
interesting.
He sounds more serious and less wacky, and
Okay.
then in the theatrical version, it's
just
clearly
crazy.
he's doing ADR
ADR.
work to make it more like more goofy, more for the kids. Tommy, he's like, fuck's sake, all right,
Blast
Jesus.
him! Blast,
Blast
him!
him.
Open sesame! Good God! What are you doing? Damn it!
And this dude made a good point. He said, I actually think Batman and Robin, between Batman and Robin and Batman Forever,
Yeah.
Batman and Robin is the slightly better movie.
Which
I've always said, always,
Really?
always.
Really?
Oh yeah, not when I first saw it. When I first saw it in
Oh.
theaters, I was like, oh, that makes Batman Forever look like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But upon further examination, every time I watched Batman Forever, I was just like, And this guy made the exact same point. This is why the guy thinks, I'm like, I've never heard somebody have this exact same thought. Every time I've ever brought it up, people have been like, no. And I've never had anyone agree. And this is the first person I've ever. And people were audibly reacting to him in the cantina.
Really?
We're like, oh, what is that? And like, and Mark Bernardin and Kevin were making fun, like, oh, you're not making many friends with that argument. But he made a good point. He said the same thing I've always said to people, and then nobody's agreed. Batman Forever is a movie that doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be. And it's like it's serious and goofy. It's leaning in the 1960s camp, and it's trying to be kind of Tim Burton-y, but it's not really full Joel Schumacher. And what Joel Schumacher did, and he points this out in the next one, he's like, "Oh, you just want a movie to sell toys." Fuck it, I'll give you a movie to sell toys. And he puts all of his Joel Schumacher-y kind of like flamboyancy of like, I'm going to make this colorful. And all the critics at the time were like, this movie's so overproduced. I'm like, that's the point. Like, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's costume and the CGI, use of CGI and the colors and the elaborate way Gotham is. It's never been as elaborate as that. And his stupid fucking relentless one-liners that never cease.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Come on.
The Ice Age.
Chill.
He kills one of his henchmen because he makes a noise while he's watching home movies of his wife on a frozen TV.
Yeah, that's right.
And he goes, I hate it when people talk during the movie.
It's so stupid. But you know what? But you know what? Despite what that guy said, granted, I watch Batman or Batman like every week, but I haven't.
But the point about why it's probably a better Joel Schumacher movie is because it knows exactly what it is. I mean, when they even whip out the back credit card and shit, it's like,
oh yeah, the back credit, ching.
It like from the very first scene, if you don't understand that this is deliberately like the big budget version tribute / wacky Priscilla Queen of the Desert version of fucking Batman, it's like it's also got that 60s vibe to it where it's like campy as hell, but it knows what it wants to be. Batman Forever is like, it borders on like, what the fuck is this? And I don't think I love Val Kilmer, but I don't think he's a particularly good Batman or. Yeah,
but listen.
Bruce Wayne.
For me, look, I really have a soft spot in my heart for Batman Forever. So I personally like Batman Forever over Batman and Robin, but I completely see where you're coming from and where that guy's coming from. But you were gonna say something about Clerks 3. What were you gonna say about that?
No, the dude who was talking about all this was a very harsh critic of Clerks 3, and he gave like an alternate kind of ending.
What did he say?
Where Randall is the one who has the second heart attack when they have the confrontation in the store.
Okay.
And then it's Dante who rushes back, edits the movie, and in discovering like what Randall's vision was, goes and shows him Randall, who's in the hospital, the movie. It's just the reverse, and it's Randall that dies. And
oh wow!
But Kevin Smith was like, but I wanted to kill Dante. Like, I've been trying to kill him since the fucking first movie. And he's the guy responds, and that was a dumb decision. And the audience is like, ooh,
that was a dumb.
Very outspoken young man.
No, but listen, I love Kevin Smith, and God bless him, but. The Clerks 3 movie that we got was not the movie that I was expecting at all. To this day, I've only seen it twice, right?
We're getting back to the DC stuff. I want to just say about this. Yeah.
Hold up, just one second up. I just want to throw this thing in. I just want to throw one more thing in there about Clerks, and then we'll go back to these. Just hold on one second.
Go ahead.
I've only seen Clerks 3 twice. I saw it when I first bought it, and then I saw it for our conversation. And I just think that it wasn't the happy happy-go-lucky movie that I thought it was gonna be. It was like watching your best friends die for like 2 hours.
Well, that's depressing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we had a discussion about it. We
yeah,
did a
we
watch
did.
along.
Yeah, we did.
Um,
Yeah.
but with this James Gunn thing, he wants a Superman legacy, but he also wants the Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yeah,
Okay, here's the thing.
yeah.
Here's the thing. God damn, I gotta stop saying that. Here's the deal, fella.
Here's the deal.
You're gonna have Batman 2, Matt Reeves, plus the Penguin series,
Yeah,
and then you're gonna have Joker Folie à Deux, which is fine. You can have the Elseworld stuff. I just think brand confusion is gonna be like, okay, I'm sure there are people who watched Joker and thought like, well, this is the new Batman continuity, I guess.
no,
We're eventually gonna see a Batman spinoff from this,
no.
and
I
I'm
hope
like,
not.
nope. And it's like, Matt Reeves Batman, is that gonna open a new universe? Nope.
Nope. No. I mean, look,
And which is fine,
Yeah,
but I
look,
think that belongs on TV. I think HBO should make Batman a TV series.
really.
I think Disney. I think their best bet is to put a lot of their chips in a Spider-Man live action Disney Plus series. I think if they even announce, think about this, if they
A live action. Shit.
get out, if they announce the live action Spider-Man TV series, and I don't mean like you don't have to spend millions of dollars, you would have to spend some money per episode, but you can have moments in the series where there's not a lot of like dynamic,
Right.
big budget action on the go. You could have a lot of story in between all that.
No,
You
I
could
mean
really flesh out
Peter
not only
Parker.
Spider-Man but his rogues gallery and how he goes. You could do all that very intricately because all of these comic book properties, we've been getting it wrong, dude. We've been getting it wrong all this time
How?
because, well, not necessarily. I'm going to backtrack on that a bit. We've been getting it right in terms of they've been getting it right in terms of making money with these movies for a long time, and they want to make series like the Marvel universe, the DC universe. They want to make a series of connected things,
Right.
but it always turns out that you get to a point in these universes where there's so many different superheroes, they all get lost.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't matter anymore, and they all get lost in the fray. And the only way you can really focus on them is to do a series.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest Sony, in partner with Disney, make a Spider-Man TV series that doesn't have like Iron Man and shit. Like it's Spider-Man is unique and his universe is unique. Like you can have everything that's kind of Spider-Man adjacent, but like Captain America and all this stuff, you can do that because there have been movies where that's been the feel of it. Like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, you didn't have the sense that Iron Man and Incredible Hulk were bumping around.
It was just no, but the great thing about the movies that we had when we were kids were those movies like Batman '89, to a lesser extent Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, Batman and Spider-Man when we were kids. The Sam Raimi, they were the only superheroes in the universe, so that made them special and unique. But now with the cinematic universes, nothing is special anymore because everybody is a superhero.
And you also had movies like The Phantom, which is kind of underrated, and The
That's
Shadow.
right. I love The Phantom and The Shadow. I love those films, man.
Darkman, Sam Raimi's Darkman.
Yeah, Darkman was good too.
Very over the top, but still, that's an early
Yeah, 90s.
example of that. And of course, the dreaded 1990 Captain America movie with Salinger.
Oh yeah.
And the unreleased 1994 Fantastic Four film.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark.
Also, you can't forget the Punisher movies with Rolf and with Lundgren.
Oh, yes, that was like 1987 or something.
Yeah. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark, aren't we?
I completely forgot about that movie. I watched that movie a few times as a kid. I thought it was really like hardcore. I'm like, man, this movie's dark. And Dolph Lundgren was he was somebody I grew up with Rocky Four
Rocky, yeah.
and He-Man. He was He-Man.
If you can change, if you can change, we can change. I
And
will
I will
break,
break
you.
you.
Yeah, we should do a live watch along of Rocky 4.
Yeah, Rocky Four. Yeah, that's a good one. Not the director's cut though.
No.
We need we need the robot at Polly's birthday.
Yeah, no. The regular. I like the robot. A lot of people don't like the
Yeah, that's
robot.
what I'm saying. Like the director's cut, he takes it out. He's ashamed of it, and I'm like, dude.
Really? He took it out?
Did you see the director's cut of Rocky Four?
No, I didn't. He took it out.
It's inferior.
Oh wow.
The original cut is. It's weird because sometimes director's cuts, when you see them, you're like, you know what? If it was a combination of the theatrical cut and this, it would be better. But it went too far into the director's liberties of like changing things that he didn't like.
Right.
For example, on Paramount Plus, I think the only version of Godfather 3 is the Death of Michael Corleone version.
Yeah,
where
the Coppola director's cut.
Which is actually a better version right up until the end. And like, oh, he fucked with the end. No, the end was fine.
What did he do at the end?
It's just, you don't really see him you don't really see him fall over. It's stupid.
He just dies?
No, you don't see him die. It's the point. It's like...
Oh. No, but in the theatrical,
the original
he
cut,
dies, right?
he dies. He falls over. He's dead. Michael Corleone dies.
No, but... no,
oh, wait. The death of Michael Corleone cut. I don't know. There's something about the end
Does
that's
he
different.
fall over?
I don't have Paramount Plus anymore. I can't check.
No, but let me say this.
I think it's like it's meant to you assume he dies as opposed to just seeing it. Like,
right.
I think Coppola didn't like the decision to have him like fall over in the chair.
Yeah, but
something like that. I saw it 2 years ago. So.
Yeah, but Michael Corleone is in the cemetery and he's in front of whose grave is he in front of at the time?
I can't. All I remember about the cut is that it just extended scenes that give more context to things, and it's just a better. Overall, it's a better experience. I think.
Did what's her face get any better? No.
Sofia Coppola. No.
Not any better. She was really bad in that movie.
Yeah, it's an odd thing when you're trying to make a sequel to two of the greatest films of like that generation.
And the first thing you do is cash
and Andy Garcia's weird in it, and it's the weird cousin fucking thing, and
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's like and
whatever.
Pacino's fits that he has, and
oh yeah.
He's playing older than he is in that movie, right?
Yeah, he is. Also the fact that the conciliary guy isn't there anymore.
It feels, the parts of it feel very standard 90s, 80s kind of like movie. Noir action beats. I don't know. It's a weird movie. I like it, but I don't love it like the first two.
I don't know. I mean, when I watch The Godfather, I don't watch Godfather 3 a lot. I watch Godfather 1 and 2, and that's it.
On this, the day of my daughter's wedding. Yeah. I hope your first child is a masculine child.
No, I mean, but it just
Did you watch The Offer on Paramount Plus?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
That's about but the making of The Godfather. They do take liberties.
Yeah.
Clearly.
But absolutely, I think the opening to The Godfather is such a good opening with the guy saying, with the over black screen going, I believe in America. Oh my God, it's such a great opening. It was like, come on.
I believe in America. Oh.
Yeah, it's such a great.
Yeah,
such a great opening. I believe in America. I raised my family in the American tradition. My daughter went out with this guy. She took her out to the movies. They got rough. And they put her in the hospital. And they wired her mouth shut.
Ugh.
Oh, so awful. It's just awful. It's fucking awful. Oh my god, so awful.
Um,
Um,
well, before we go, do you want to? There's a film coming out next month. It's pretty dynamic.
mm,
It's probably the next one I'm going to be seeing in theaters.
yeah.
I won't be going to see Indiana Jones. I'll wait for that in
No.
Disney Plus.
Oh
No,
man. I'm
no,
I'm
no, no.
I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, so there's no way in hell that I'm not going.
I tried to watch Fleabag with Phoebe
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Waller-Bridge, and oh my god,
Mm.
I don't know about
You know
that.
what? I tried to watch Fleabag too, but I tapped out too.
And I don't know. It's just Indiana Jones. I think the time has passed on that,
Okay. Okay.
and for me anyway.
Yeah.
But
But
next month is part 7 of a
yeah.
franchise called Mission
Yeah, man.
Impossible.
Woo!
Mm. Dun
God
dun dun
Almighty.
dun 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 dun
Dun,
dun.
dun,
Oh,
dun,
wrong
dun.
franchise.
Yeah.
Bum
Yeah.
bum
No.
bum bum
Gu-
bum.
yeah. Yeah, guys. If you don't know, I should tell you now as I fidget with this marker. Mission Impossible is my favorite franchise of all time, right behind Star Trek. So to say that I'm excited is an understatement. I'm so pumped. I cannot wait. What I've heard just a little, no spoilers. I've heard that it's great. Um, and a lot of people who have seen it have said that it's their favorite one now. Um, yeah,
My favorite end to anyone was the last one. It was Fallout, the helicopter sequence with Cavill and
yeah,
Tom
with
Cruise on the
Tom
mountain.
Cruise, so great.
I thought that was like the pinnacle of that franchise in terms of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
final action beats. Second to that is the garage
Oh
scene
yeah,
in
yeah,
part
yeah. The
four
yeah, yeah.
with
The garage
Cruz
factory,
and
the car
Mikhail
factory.
Nyquist, who's passed away.
Yeah.
Um,
No. Yeah, four is actually one of my favorite films in the franchise.
this new
Four,
one is
four,
Dead Reckoning Part One, so
yes.
I guess the next one's coming next year.
That's the hope, but nobody knows what's gonna happen because for those of you who are not in the know, the lifeblood people who actually make Hollywood run, vis-a-vis the writers, are on strike right now. So,
Well, hasn't they have filmed both parts, haven't they?
no. They filmed part one and they're doing light work on part two, but they can't get in front of cameras
Oh, okay.
until the writer strike is over.
So probably let's say they're gonna push to 2025 maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're right. It's probably gonna be 2025.
So there's been such a slump at the box office with Flash, Elemental not doing well.
Yeah, that's
Indiana
shocking.
Jones and the Dial of Destiny doesn't look like it's hard times for Disney.
Yeah, but
Do
yeah,
you,
very hard times.
I'm just gonna take a look at July before like our last little thing here.
Okay, take a look at
2023
July.
in film. Let's take a look at July. I just want to take a look at June and see what has like kind of fizzled out.
Okay.
June. Scroll down. God damn.
Scrolling,
Okay,
scrolling,
so
scrolling.
the most successful movie you we could say is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse that came out in June.
Yeah.
That I look at the movie theater seats in my local theater. That one was
Uh-huh.
always like doing well. Transformers: Rise of the Beast, not so much. Nor The Flash, nor Elemental. Asteroid City is going to have its niche audience for the Wes Anderson thing.
Yeah.
Um, the rest like No Hard Feelings and like all these smaller films I'm not really too concerned about. But Dial of Destiny comes out on the 30th, not looking to do too well. Now June's fucked. June 2023 in terms of box office is a
You're fucked.
bad month. Next month, not much except for
Yeah.
two films in particular:
Big ones.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Oppenheimer.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Which one's gonna win? Mission Impossible easily.
Yeah. I
Tom
think-
Cruise is after Top Gun 2, Top
he's
Gun
on a run.
Maverick. And the fact that the Mission Impossible movies
Are still going.
just keep making money. They don't fall off. They just
No, and they get better.
I just want to take a look at the box office for these movies.
Yeah. What was it? What was the box office for Fallout?
Hold on, I'll go to the Mission Impossible film series. I'm gonna share the screen. Hold on.
Yeah. Let's see if you can do it. Go.
So we got Mission Impossible, 1996.
Yeah. What was the gross?
It cost $80 million, and it made $457 million at the box office. Pretty damn good for 1996.
Yeah.
Now,
That's pretty good.
none of this, of course, is adjusted for inflation. And then the second one, which was 125 million, made
Yep.
more with 546.
Right. Wow.
Then we get J.J. Abrams. That was John Woo directed. Then we
Yeah.
get J.J. The first one was Brian De Palma. The second one was John Woo. The third one was
Woo.
J.J. Abrams.
JJ.
This
Yeah.
this movie cost even more than the other ones, but made less.
Wow,
So it was the
okay.
lowest grossing of the franchise
At the
up
time.
to that point.
Wow. How much did it make?
Oh shit! Sorry.
That's one.
It made 300 and
No. Yeah.
it made
300
398.5.
Okay.
Then we go to Ghost Protocol, which is wonderfully directed. It's
Great.
really up there as one of the best ones.
Brad Bird.
4, 5, and 6 are the best ones in my opinion. Brad Bird, that cost 145 million. A little bit more of a modest budget, but actually made 694 million dollars.
Rogue Nation is up next.
They get more popular, and in 2015, this is when
Rogue
Chris
Nation.
McQuarrie takes over the franchise.
Woo!
150 million, pretty modest budget. 682.7 million, doing pretty well.
Wow. It's dope.
Fallout
It's dope.
2018, also
2018.
directed by Christopher McQuarrie.
Yep.
178 million, highest grossing of the franchise so far at 791 million.
Oh. So up.
I
well,
I honestly believe that Dead Reckoning Part 1
yeah.
will I don't know about $1 billion, because Top Gun is a different thing.
Yeah.
And
Top Gun's a bill.
there's not as many Mission Impossible fans as there may be.
As
Like
Top Gun fans.
I think Top Gun had a more general appeal.
Right.
But I think Dead Reckoning Part 1 is going to make like 800. It's going to make a little bit more
Okay.
than the last one.
Okay.
And if that's really good, and people are like, well, I got to see the conclusion because so many people would have seen it on streaming by then,
Right.
then I think the next one will be the potential billion-dollar Mission Impossible movie.
Okay. But it'll be really interesting if this movie somehow can get $1 billion. If it's really, really good.
I hope it can. I'm going to see it. I'm picky about what I go to see now. Flash was a mistake. I
Yeah.
admit that. I was like,
Yeah,
I should not have come here. But I can't deny that. Like, I was
But you know,
I'm like, it is cool to see Keaton, and it is. There's an
but
emotional element to it that works, but
but I was like,
I'm fed up with multiverse. The last
you're
movie I'm
fed up
ever
with-
going to see, the last couple of movies I'm ever going to see about multiverse, and I think I'm done, are Across the Spider-Verse and the next one, and Deadpool 3, and that's it. Deadpool 3 will at least be lampooning
and
the
and
whole
it'll have,
multiverse thing, and that should be the nail in the coffin for it all. Once Deadpool 3 does the whole multiverse thing, we should, and it just completely
you're done.
points out the absurdity of it and like
You're
the
done.
cheapness of it, and how
You sound like
Marvel has
John
done
Campion.
4 different versions of the fucking multiverse. None of it,
None of it
Spider-Man.
works.
Spider-Man No Way Home is decent, just for the
Mm-hmm.
fact that it brings back characters,
It brings back Toby.
but none of it's time travel, multiverse. Come on, give me a break. Do
Give it
something
a-
else.
Give it a rest, guys.
That's why I like The Expanse. The Expanse never fucked around with absurd concepts.
They
like
never
that.
did.
Yeah, I don't mind the exploration of the absurd, but when there's so much of it and everybody's doing it, it becomes like just
Too much already.
becomes noise.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well,
All right, man.
thank you for being here, and thank you for joining us, nobody.
Thank you.
Thank you for the no viewers, no comments. Thanks.
Yeah,
No,
it was fun.
There was 2 comments.
Yeah,
We did well.
Did Joe lose the comment, or were those 2 comments by Ruben?
We're gonna make it to Hollywood someday. We're gonna be stars.
Yeah, we're gonna be stars. And then all of you who said you watched our live streams when we were nobody, you're a bunch of liars.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
I gotta cue up the end here. I'm just gonna take us out. Good night, folks.